Can you all see my screen, please?
Yes, sir. We can see your screen, sir.
Okay, you can see it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, like always, today is our day 16 of this 3-month data analytics bootcamp. Like I told you, this bootcamp will last for about 3 months, and today is our day 16. We always start by showing our outlines, which we are going to cover for the day. So today, what we are going to discuss about, we'll talk about a recap on what we did yesterday, and we'll talk about some if and some ifs. So if you can recall, yesterday we talked about count if and count ifs. I've told you that you use such count if and count ifs to count a particular item based on the criteria given by you. So count ifs is like the pro marks of count if. So all these are pro formulas of count A and count blank that we did yesterday, last week. So today I know you've been practicing such, you learn about such, and I told you please try as much as you can to learn how to do that, because there is no shortcut on doing this in Excel. There's no shortcut on that, especially when it has to do with when it has to do with using comparison operators to do the count if and count ifs. So the next thing we are going to talk about today, we'll talk about some if and some ifs. So some if and some ifs is like, I can't say the opposite of count. So if you can think, we say count, we count. We count a particular data based on a criteria. For the sum if, we sum a particular data based on a criteria. So this is the difference between the two. So for the sum if, we want to sum a particular data based on a particular criteria. Like for example, now we have data. Okay, let me show this so that if I show my screen, it will be better for you seeing what I will explain. So for example, now this is our data. I have qualification, I have salary, and we have this. So for example, if you want to apply the sum if, we want to count, that is to sum, not to count. Sorry, I used the word count. To sum, we want to sum the total salary of those that have BSc qualification. We want to sum up the total salary of those that have BSc qualification. You know, we have people with BSc, this. If you want to count it, we can just use count if to count the number of BSc within the particular range. So now, but we want to count the salary, the total salary of all the people that have a BSc qualification in this. So we use sum if in order for us to do that. So take note, most of the time, a data will be given to you in a particular organization that, okay, please help us and count the total amount belonging to people from a particular state, or people from a particular department, or people from a particular criteria. So you need to understand how to do that, how to calculate the sum of the total amount that those particular people need, or those particular people are entitled to. So that's what we are going to do. Let's start with the sum if, so that we will see how we can calculate the sum of the people that are collecting BSc. So let's say total BSc salary. That's what I'm going to do. Let me just name it like that: total salary, total BSc salary. So the first thing you need to write is put equal sign, which is the normal thing. Then you write sum if. Then you open your bracket. The first thing is to highlight the range of where you have the criteria. That is the range, the first range. You highlight it, because this is the range that we want to put the criteria that we want to select the sum based on the criteria. Then I put comma. Then you need to put comma. The second thing is to put the criteria. So what is the criteria here? So the criteria is BSc. That's the criteria. We are trying to count the BSc. That's our criteria. So I'm just going to say BSc. That's the criteria. Then I'll put comma. Then what do we need? So you can select the criteria. You can click on the BSc if you want in this scenario. But let's just see how. So the next thing is to highlight the range of the sum. That is, this is the sum, where the sum is. We already passed the criteria of it, and we highlight the range of the sum. So just close your bracket and you press enter. So it will give you 180,000. That's the total salary of the people with BSc qualification. So if you look at it, we have 60, and we have 60. If you put 60,000 times 3 by default, it will give you the sum of 18,000. 180,000. So I can change this particular SSC or this SSC to BSc. So it will increase to 240,000, because now we have 4 BSc and the total is what? We have 460,000 in the row. So please take note on that, and take note on how you can do this. So I will repeat this again. I'll repeat this again so that you will see how we can do it again. So let's say we want to find the total salary of total NCE salary. So all you need to do is to put equal sign, you put sum if, then you put open bracket, you highlight the range, then you put comma. You can click on the NCE, you can select the NCE, just click on the NCE, then you put comma, then you highlight the sum range if you want, then you close. So it is different from the one that I did. That was this one, I put it inside double quote, but this one I click on it on the cell where the NCE is. So now if I come here, maybe I change this HND to NCE, it will turn to 160. That's the salary of the people that are collecting NCE within the range. So please take note on this. This is how you applied this sum if. So let's talk about some ifs. So some ifs has to do with the, okay, sorry, let me delete this. Okay, I will leave this because I need to use it in order for me to apply something. So let me delete this. Let me just paste this somewhere. Let me delete this. Let me delete this. So what I'm going to do, I will make this partially paid. I would turn this to partially paid, partially paid, like this. So let's just do this. So let me just give you what this sum if is. Like I told you, some ifs is like the kind of it will be the pro max of the sum if. So we did this sum if using one criteria. So like count ifs that takes more than one criteria. Some ifs also take more than one criteria. So let's say, for example, I want to find the total salary. Let me write it. Total BSc salary, but I will put it in bracket partially paid. That is, we want to know that we have partially paid people. Let me just copy this so that we put it in the right place. Let's put it here. Let's put it here. So let me just delete this like this. So we want to know that the people that are collecting salary, BSc salary, there are those that are paid completely and there are those that are not paid, that are partially paid. So we want to know the total amount of the outstanding of the people that are partially paid. So that way we can use this sum ifs formula in order for us to find the total of the people that have BSc who are partially paid. So that's what we need to do. So what I'm going to do is just to put equal sign sum ifs and you add is at the end. So the first thing you need to know, the difference between the sum if and sum ifs, is that in sum if you can recall, we start by highlighting the range where we will put the criteria. That way we highlight the range of qualification and we put the criteria of qualification. But in some ifs, we will start by using the sum range. That is where the sum of the number or the amount is. Because why did it do that? Because the sum range is 1, but the criteria can be multiple. So I think the rationale behind this is these Excel people don't want you to forget what you are doing while putting the criteria. You can forget the sum range at the end, but that way they bring the sum range to be first, so that when you select it, then you can continue putting the criteria at the end. So that's what you need to take note on that. So now let's select the criteria. I'll just highlight the sum range. So that the sum range, then you put comma. So we are done with the sum range. So the next thing is to highlight the first criteria range. That is where, what do we need? We said we need those that are collecting BSc and they are partially paid. That's the sum that we want to add up. So now we select the BSc, then we put comma. I can put the BSc inside double quote and I can select on the BSc. So I can select on it, then I put comma again. Then the second thing is for me to, since I put the criteria, I highlight the range and I put the criteria. The second thing is for me to highlight the second range. That is the second criteria that I want to give. This is the second range that I have. Then I put comma. What did I need in the range is partially paid. So I can put partially paid in the double quote. Sorry, I made a mistake. I just click enter. I'm supposed to write it. So I need to put the partially paid, or I can click on the partially paid. So I think I'll put it, I should put it partially. Let me put it partially paid. Then I'll close my bracket and I'll press enter. Then I got 180,000. They are the sum of the people that have BSc who are partially paid. So this is the sum of the people who are partially paid that have BSc qualification. So take note on this. We started by highlighting the sum range, then we put two criteria. They have BSc. So you see the total salary of those with BSc, if you can look at it, is 240,000. But at the end, we end up with outstanding payment of 180. So by default, if we want to calculate it, all we need to do is to say this minus this. You see, it gives us 60,000. So we only paid 60,000 to those that are collecting BSc salary. So this is a very insightful thing that you can find in a data or in your analysis, showing your stakeholders that this is the outcome based on what you saw in the data. This is the amount you paid. This is our outstanding amount, and this is what you're supposed to pay. So all this is something that you can be extracting out of the data, and it's something that I told you. All this that we are doing, like yesterday and today, there is no shortcut on this. So you need to learn it. You need to have the experience of doing this, and you need to know how to extract these types of information within a particular data. So let's retry the sum ifs again, so that you will see how I did it, so that it will be kind of more easier for you to do. So I'm just going to put sum ifs again. Like I said, you highlight the sum range, because I told you sum range is the first criteria to give, or the first kind of thing you need to put in the formula when you are starting the sum ifs, not like sum if. So you put this, you put comma. So the second is the criteria range, which is this. Then you need to highlight the criteria range. You put comma and you put the criteria. So you can select on the BSc, or let's say NCE now, because we are doing the NCE. So you select on the NCE, then you put comma, you select, you highlight the range of the second criteria, then you put comma, then you select the partially paid, then you close it, or you can write it, or you can select it, whatever you want, you can do that. Then you press enter, so it's give you 0. So by default, we don't have any outstanding payment. Okay, let me cut this, I'll put it here. Let me write it. Okay, let's change this to NCE so that you'll see it well. So you'll see that we don't have any partially paid of NCE. We don't have any outstanding payment of NCE. So for the NCE is 0. We have 0. So that means we don't have any partially paid under BSc. So I can just copy this partially paid and put it here. So it will give us 40,000. You see, the total salary of NCE is first of all is 160,000. But before, when I wrote the formula, we have 0, but I changed it to maybe we have 40. So now if you minus it, you say this 160 minus 40, you see that we paid 120,000. That means we have outstanding of 40,000. And by default, based on this, you can calculate the percentage of people paid and people not paid. You can calculate that. So it's something that, you know, all these are things that if you understand how to do all this, it will help you a lot to bring insightful outcomes based on the data. Because now if I want to put the percentage of those that are partially paid and those that are not paid at all you need to do is you need to say, for example, all you need to do, let's say for the NC, you want to know the percentage of those that are partially paid and those that are paid. So all I need to do, let's say percentage, okay, let me say NCE, percentage paid. Then I can say NCE, percentage partially paid, or percentage not paid. I can put percentage not paid since it's just partially paid because we didn't even pay them at all. So all you need to do is to put equals to what is the specific for NCE paid. Is this 120? Just put 120, comma. What is the total salary of those collecting that have NCE qualification? Is 160. Then you put your 160, you press enter. If I put this, it will give me 75%. And for the partially paid, I will just say equals to what is the specific is this divided by the total, which is the 160 times 100. Then I don't need to put the 100. I just put percentage time. It will give me 25%. 25 plus this, it will give you 100%. So by default, you will know that the NCE percentage of people that are paid in NCE, they are 75%, while not paid are what kind of 25. So let's say BSc. Let's calculate the BSc and see. So for the BSc, we are going to say BSc percentage paid. Then I say BSc percentage partially paid or not paid, partially paid. So if you want to do that, all we need to do is to say equal sign. Where is the salary of the people that we paid? So these are the people we paid. So divided by the total salary of 240, we press this and it will give you this. That is the 25% of it. So for those that are not paid at all, this is the partially paid. This divided by the total like this, then I'll just put it at the middle and press this. It will give us 75%. So it's by vice versa. So let me just do something. Let's turn someone to paid again. Let's say paid completely. Let's just make it this, so it will be 50-50. So let's turn some another one to BSc like this, so it will be 60-40 like this. So you see, this is something that you need to learn, and you need to learn how to do it. It will help you a lot to do a lot about any data given to you. So I think this is where we are going to kind of stop here, I think, so that if you have any question, you can ask, or you can raise your hand. I can give you the floor to ask your question. So this is where we are going to stop. And don't worry, the video will be available soon. So if you have any question, you can ask, or you can raise your hand. You can ask in the chat. I'm reading the chat. I am reading the chats. You can ask in the chat, or you can raise your hand. Yeah, iPhone. So I think there is one day we are discussing in the office. Someone said every day you must talk. So the iPhone, I'm unmuting you. They said you talk. Wa alaikum salam.
Not every day.
Yeah, they said every day iPhone talk. Continue, ask your question.
So my question is that while calculating the total BSc salary,
Yeah,
which is the partially paid,
yeah.
why do we have to highlight the salary, why do we have to first highlight the first salary before highlighting the qualification?
Yeah, like I told you,
Is
I
it
told you the rationale behind it. By default, in sumif, which is the first one that we did, we started with the range and we put the criteria, then we highlight the sum range. That's what we did in sumif. But for the sumifs, since it is advanced one, that's why I told you maybe the rationale is because if you start with the criteria, you can get confused because the sum range is only one, while the criteria can be more than 100. So that's why maybe they brought the sum range to be first, thing that you will pass in the formula. The first argument you will pass in the formula, then followed by the criteria. That is the range criteria, and you continue from where you want. I told you, I talk about that. That's maybe the rationale behind that. That's how the formula is. I don't know if you
Okay, thank you,
got
sir.
if you understand this. I
Yeah,
already talked about that.
yeah,
Maybe
I
that's the
understand.
rationale behind doing that. I think that's the rationale behind that. So they
So
brought it back.
what
Yeah.
what if we have like two salaries?
You said
Yeah, what if we have like two salaries?
if you have like
Like, is it possible to have two salaries in the like two variable salaries, which is like maybe like first like first salary and the other salary like 2 months salary. Like a company is holding a 2 month salary, and
yeah.
you have calculate they have to calculate it like they have two salaries. Is it possible to have two salaries?
No, since the sum range is one, so all you need to do, then you need to apply the sum if in two different batches, because the sum range is
Okay,
only one in all the criteria of the formula. So it's only one. So you need to select one, then you add them together with using plus sign. Because don't expect, sometimes
thank you.
you shouldn't expect that everything that you want to do, maybe there is a formula for you to do this. Sometimes you need to act smart. So in this scenario that you have, maybe you have BSc qualification, the salary is maybe for month of April and month of June, for example. So then you need to extract the total salary of those collected having BSc qualification on the month of July, then you did it for the month of August, then you put them together and you have the total salary of 2 months. So that's the smartest way to do it, since the formula only takes one argument of salary range. So you need to apply that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you can use this to calculate a medical field. Yes, you can use anything that has to do with summing, counting, not only salary. Please don't restrict yourself based on the maybe examples that I gave you. Please try to do much. You can do a lot of things to add up different things in as much as you want to add up something. The height, the salary, the number of participants, number of people within a particular state, number of applications, number of rejected people, a lot of things, anything that needs to be summed up that has criteria, you don't need to count it by yourself, you need to add it up together. Yeah. Don't worry about the lesson content, Musa Mohammed. Don't worry about the everything that you are seeing. I told you we have our complete schedules from day 1 up till day 92. Everything is intact. Sometimes we are going to have theoretical aspect. Sometimes we are going to have practical aspect. So take everything easy, step by step. We are taking things easy, very step by step. And you are going to learn a lot, even when it comes to theoretical aspect of it. We are going to talk about a lot of that. And that way, last week, if you can recall, on Monday, we discussed about data types and others. Don't worry, we have a lot of theories that will focus on all you need to learn about, but not now, but you will be seeing them as we are doing it based on the weekly schedule that will be sending to you. So please don't worry about that. Don't rush that. You can, it is part as you are going to something. Yeah, I see your hand up. Do you want to ask another question? If you have any question, please, you can ask in the chat or you can raise your hand. I can give you the flow. We have 7 minutes, so we have some minutes. So we have 7 minutes. If you want to ask, please, you can ask. We have 7 minutes.
Mama,
If you have any question, you can ask.
akwai abinci nan. Eh, ga abinci. Mama ke ba? Mami za ki ci. Kin dama? A nan tsamu. A tsamu.
Okay, yeah, Imrana, you can ask your question. Sorry, I didn't see it. I minimized the screen.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So my question is this, sir, sometimes you will be given a data set
Yeah,
that were obtained from scientific experiments.
yeah.
In such situation, how do you apply this knowledge to analyze such data? Because what I have been seeing here is like we are dealing with data that is somehow business related or accounting related data.
Yeah. So based on what you are learning, because you need to understand one thing about this data analytics profession. We are not going to teach you, or I'm not going to teach you something that maybe will only work where maybe on financial analysis or accounting or something like that. We're not going to deal with that. We are dealing with almost everything. So anything based on what was given to you, no matter what it is, if you have the skill, you are the one to understand or to know what you can do based on that to arrive at a particular decision. Let me tell you one thing about this. We did if formula and if nested with you here. I have a student who is also my staff in my company. He worked with I think one NGO last year. He worked with one NGO last year, and they are dealing with medical tests and reports. It's like they are using, they are testing people, then the report will come from lab that has to do with blood pressure, blood this, blood this, blood this. He developed a formula using that if nested. He developed a formula that will help in arriving at a particular decision based on the tests being done by a particular patient. So based on the formula he created, when they input the whatever the figures they used to input as a report of a particular person, maybe his blood pressure, his this, his BP, his this, his this. At the end of the day, it will just arrive at this particular person is AS, or this particular person is this, or if this particular person is diabetics, or this particular person is something. So you are the one to understand. So you see, this particular student of mine did use this formula in order for you to work, in order for him to work in a laboratory or to work under medical professional field. So no matter what, whether it is scientific or it is law or whatever it is, you are the one to think, how can you leverage that particular knowledge that you have? How can you analyze a particular data based on the skills that you have in order for you to arrive at a particular something? So even the data is stop looking at this. I don't want you to look at this at this perspective that we are learning maybe statistical or accounting, or like for me, I never worked in accounting firm, or I never did any analysis that has to do with accounting. So maybe I will stop giving you example with salary or something like that. Maybe that word confused some of you. And I never analyze any data, any work. I never did any work that has to do with a financial thing. Never did that. All the works that I've been doing are almost health related works. So it has to do with science. It has to do with science reports, science analysis, science something. Even currently now we have a work that has to do with such. So sometimes stop looking at it at this angle. Look at it as in a broader sense that this particular knowledge has to do with almost every field. Even me now, I want to start. I'm analyzing a lot of things related to law. So does that mean maybe I can't use a formula to analyze something related to law? I can do that. So please, you need to think outside the box and take note that wherever you are, you can apply all this. I said money. If I said money, even if it is not money, it's something that quantitative data, you can go ahead and do such in your analysis. So please, Imana, I hope I answered your question. And don't worry, what we are doing is not accounting or only financial related things. It's had to do with almost every field. That's why I said right from the beginning, no matter what you are studying, no matter what you are doing, you can learn the analysis and you can apply the analysis in your work. So it's not something only to that. Maybe the formulas we are doing that what you are seeing, but we will keep doing a lot. And all the formulas that we have done, you can apply them anywhere in the world. Anywhere. I don't even want to say maybe in a specific field. Anywhere in the world, you can apply such formula. It always has to do with the type of work that is in front of you. With the type of work that is in front of you. So please, thank you so much. To highlight the range, I observed for some you click for something, you drag to highlight. No, I always highlight. I didn't drag. I highlight comfort. I think it's comfort or Margot. Is kind of, I highlight all of them. I highlight. I didn't drag. So we didn't drag. Dragging is to, is doing something else for us. So I didn't drag. I always highlight. I highlight. So thank you all for today. I think I will upload the video soon for you. Then I will share the link with you. So see you tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.